Hi, it's me. I'm down here, Julie of Casa Chic, and I wanted to talk to you about three types of reselling business models. And I decided to do this video because I reviewed a lot of Poshmark closets and eBay stores from sellers who reached out to me, many of whom are struggling with low sales. And they wanted me to look at their stores and say, what am I doing wrong? And many of the closets were great. But many of them had room for improvement. And I think there's a disconnect, and it's probably because of social media. So I wanted to talk to you about the different types of business models for reselling and make sure you're not merging two different models. So there's a million ways you can run your reselling business. I know people running them in different ways, but there's really three basic models that your business is based on, like the cornerstone of any reselling business, any online reselling business. And I'm talking about eBay, Poshmark, live selling, things like that, not like having your own website. But it could apply. And I was not trained in business. So I was an English major in college. I went to law school. I was a lawyer. I did run three brick and mortar businesses at one point that had nothing to do with reselling, but I don't have a business degree. So I had to kind of learn this. And once I started thinking like a business person, my reselling business became much easier. So I know a lot of us are not trained in business that are in the reselling community. So thinking of your business with a business model may help you kind of focus on what you want to do. So I'm going to talk about the three models. So the model A is the traditional sourcing of inventory. This is probably most of us do not do this. And so this is like you find an item or items and you can get more of the same item. So you create one listing per item and you just sell it over and over again. And you sell it either on Amazon or you sell it on eBay or you sell it on Etsy. And this is like, for example, like let's say I decided that I wanted to sell t-shirts that said Casa Chic on them. And so I would go to a printer or a t-shirt place and design it and sell it. And I would have maybe 3 or 4 different sizes or different colors. But that type of thing, there's not a lot of day-to-day sourcing. Okay. So this is probably the easiest model in terms of running the business because you just have to find good items that you can sell over and over again. And you list it once and then you keep selling it over and over again. And the shipping's easy because you know how much it costs to ship. So for every t-shirt, it's $7 or whatever. Easy peasy, right? It's very hard to find this type of inventory. So there's a lot of cons with this. If you have a business license, you can go to trade shows. I used to go to them all the time when I had my accessories businesses that were in malls and an airport. And I went to the jewelry store. I went to ASD. I went to the gift shows. I went to the Surf Expo, which was all the cool beachwear and surfing supplies. I went to the toy fair. And they wanted to, a lot of those companies would not sell to you if you were selling on eBay, if you were selling on Amazon, and even if you're selling on your own site, they wanted their things to be in stores because they have their own online presence or whatever. So you might find a great item and say, oh, I want to sell this on Amazon. They're like, no, no, no. And remember, on Amazon, you can't sell everything. So you might find a good item and you might be gated. So it's harder. You may not be able to sell it. And the inventory is generally more expensive. So on most of those type of shows that I went to, other than ASD, any of the higher end, like the gift show and the tours, they work on a keystone. So the inventory, so you would buy something for 5 and the manufacturer suggested retail price was 10. So that's not a lot of room to pay for your overhead, if you sell it on eBay, for your fees. If you sell it in a store, you have rent, employees. So the inventory is generally more expensive. I don't know a lot of resellers that are making this work. My advice to you is if you find something like this, don't tell anybody. keep it to yourself, because the reselling community will, people you don't even know, people you don't know who are watching will be like, oh, Julie's selling t-shirts with the Casa Chic on it. I'm going to sell t-shirts with Casa Chic on it. So unless you have a trademark or you have a exclusivity contract in writing, you better be careful because somebody will knock you off. So most resellers on eBay, Poshmark, whatnot, wherever, they follow models B and C. So let me talk about models B and C, which are more important. So the model B is like the quantity method. And this is the model that you see a lot of resellers talk about on YouTube or on social media. And they buy large quantities of inventory. They go to the Goodwill outlet, or they get pallets of stuff, or they get just tons and tons of stuff. And they spend very little time listing, but they list a lot. So they recommend you throw it up on a piece of gray flannel. You take a yardstick and you take a couple photos. You don't edit them. You don't put anything in the listing. You just say, green hat. You don't research it. You sell it very quickly. The inventory is not special, which means there's nothing. Most of that inventory, unless they find some unicorns, their day-to-day operation, they're selling basic stuff. Okay. Most of it sells for low prices. So they have to do a lot of numbers, which this is a valid business model. And there are sellers that make good money doing this. Most of them do free shipping or free returns. They have 1-day shipping. There's a lot of competition for those basic, I like to call them mediocre, but they're basic things. So like if you need, I don't know, some, a t-shirt, like you just don't need a plain t-shirt, you might go on eBay and buy it. Right. So they are in the quantity. They source at thrift stores. They source at the Goodwill outlet. They go to the same places maybe I do, estate sales, garage sales, flea markets. They go to retail arbitrage, like when Marshall's or Ross has one of those sales. They buy out storage units. And some of them, a lot of the whatnot sellers especially, they'll buy liquidation lots or pallets or truckloads. And so they're in the quantity business. So the ones that have a lot of business capital, they may buy a whole truckload a week and go on whatnot. You see those people, they're on there all the time. They're selling, I have a truckload of Zappos shoes, shoe returns, and they have somebody sitting in a warehouse and they're selling, 20 pairs an hour, maybe more, for low money, but they're doing a lot of quantity. And sometimes the shoes sell probably for really good profit. And they've worked their connections. I don't know. I don't run in this area. So I don't know if I tried to get a truckload, if I could even find a good truckload. These people will not tell you their liquidation or wholesale or sources. You need to find liquidation sources yourself. If anyone's telling you where to go, it's probably not a good source, because where you source, especially things like that, is your secret sauce. So don't expect that one of those big whatnot sellers is going to be like, yeah, I get my truckloads from Joe down the street. Their relationship with Joe is like top secret where they're getting this stuff from. It's easier to find this type of inventory, especially like going to the Goodwill outlet or something like that, buying in bulk. You buy a pallet of Nordstrom returns today. It's easier to list because this model doesn't require you to really whiten the backgrounds or put any thought into the listings. You can put the measurement in the photos. You don't need to edit the photos. You don't need to really write a description. Just put, if it's got a flaw. And speed is the most important thing here. And it's easier in general to sell cheaper items. So if you're selling things that are $10 or $20, it's easier to sell those items. It's easier for somebody to click buy it now for a $10 or $20 item than a $100 item, especially for used clothing. And this model is great if you are buying in bulk like this and you need to get rid of it, and you want to sell live. If you build up a following, you can. Okay. But the cons are you have to list hundreds of items a week to make this model work. This is not list 5 things a day like I do, right? And sorry, let me see if I can move myself. can move myself. I don't think that's really helping. Sorry. I'll move myself up here. You probably you're making lower profits on the items. So you need to sell a ton of stuff to make money. And if you have $5 or $10 profit in an item, if you want to make $100 and you're making $5 profit, you have to sell 20 things, and not just sell 20 things. You need to source 20 things. You need to list 20 things. You need to sell 20 things, and you need to ship 20 things. And not all of them are the same weight or will fit in the same bag. So it's a lot of work. I had to ship 20 things the other day because I sold 20 things, and it took me a long time. And my inventory is organized. Still takes a lot of time to ship, and you need to ship accurately, because if you start messing up labels, that's a whole nother story. And you may need to hire help or even rent office space if you want to, make this model really work. So if you can't do all of this yourself and you want to make good money, you probably need to hire people to photograph and list and sell. And you see those whatnot sellers, they're renting space and they have employees, which is great. They're selling a lot of stuff, but you have to pay for all that stuff. Don't underestimate overhead. If you're working out of your house, your overhead is low, right? If you rented a space, you might have to pay city fees, licensing fees, utilities, internet, insurance. If you have employees, you have to pay for all of that. So insurance for that. So overhead can kill a business. So don't underestimate all of that. And you will always have to be listing and shipping to make this work. So it's not like you have any momentum. So you're always going to have to be getting inventory, listing, shipping all day, all night, right? So here's an example. Let me move myself down again. Okay, so this is not my listing, and I'm not ragging on this seller, because this seller has sold 14,000 items in the past 5 years, according to eBay. I don't know the seller, but this is the typical thing. So these are Nike men's shorts. They sold for $15 plus shipping. The seller has sold 14,000 items in 5 years. I don't know how long they were listed. They have free 60-day returns and 1-day handling. So let's say this seller made $10 on this. They've got them at the bins or whatever. And they have to sell 10 of these to make $100. If they want to make $100,000 a year, they're going to have to sell a lot, right? So if you're making $100 a day, you need to make $300 a day. So they would need to sell 30 of these if they had $10 profit in them every day. 30 things a day. List and sell 30 things a day. That's a lot. Now, can you do it? Absolutely. But do you have work-life balance? So here's eBay product research, and let me move myself up so you can see. So these are how many sold. The top graph is how many sold. So if you are really doing research, you should be going to eBay product research. You can do it on your phone. It's better on ebay.com, either on your phone or on, not the app, on ebay.com. So you can look at ebay.com on your phone, on your laptop, on your desktop, or on your iPad. So Nike men's shorts large in the activewear shorts category, pre-owned, past 90 days, sell-through rate 10.28%, average sale price $16.94, average shipping, not that much free shipping, total sellers. Now, this could include bundles and lots. So that 225 is either of the highest sold one. That could be skewing the numbers. If you look down below, that is right here. That's the current listed ones. So right now there's 17,142 pairs of Nike men's shorts in size large. 30% of them are offering free shipping, and the average listing price is $24. That's a lot of competition. Now, do you want to run your business this way? You can. I'm not telling you can't. I'm just trying to lay out the different models and kind of explain to you why I think people are getting them confused. So I have seen so many resellers burn out running their businesses this way. Um, Now I've seen sellers be successful. Um, but this is a hard lifestyle because you have to work a lot. And a lot of us have become resellers because we want the freedom that we didn't have in a job. And so if you are working 50 or 60 hours a week because you have to get those listings up and you got to get your shipping out and you got to go sourcing, and you're running like crazy, if you want to make good money, you have to work a lot or you have to hire employees. It's a lot. And I've seen a lot of resellers start this way and then burn out and do something else or even quit reselling altogether. The current economy makes this model harder too. So I just put in Google Nike men's shorts and look, Lululemon has shorts for $29. New Dick's Sporting Goods, $20. So you're not only getting the competition from other resellers, discount stores, websites, not just Amazon and Walmart, just Nike themselves. So yeah, the shorts are $35 brand new from Nike, and you might be able to buy them for $25 on eBay brand new, but you got to pay shipping on eBay. The returns aren't as good. So when you're selling average everyday stuff, even good brands like Nike, there's a lot of competition. It's hard. Okay. And I think the disconnect that I've been seeing is people have watched the videos of resellers who run their business this way and successfully, and they think they can run a Model C, which is the model that I use, doing the Model B process. So they're buying mediocre everyday inventory. They're doing basic listings. They're not making their listings look good. They're not putting any research into it. They're not making, they're putting the measurements in the listing, which I got a lot of hate from in my TikTok video because people are like, I like measurements in the listing, but I don't buy designer clothes. Well, if you want to sell stuff for more money, don't put the measurements in the listing. It cheapens your listing. It's marketing. Why is this t-shirt, $20 at Target and this t-shirt is $100 at Nordstrom? Marketing. You need to market your items better. You need to present them better. So I think that some sellers are like, they don't want to work and list 50 things a day. They want to list 5 or 10 things a day, like I tell you to do, but they're finding basic inventory and making these basic listings. They're trying to merge the two. I don't think it works that way. So if you want to do Model C, and I think you can make the same amount of money or even more working less, let's talk about it. So this is a quality over quantity method. This is what I teach. This is one of my items. So I sold this, I think yesterday. So these were boots. These are boot via Spiga. These aren't Prada. They aren't Gucci. They're probably pretty expensive new, but this is something at thrift stores, real leather boots, right? This is something you can find at the bins. This is something you can find at a garage sale. This is something you can find at a thrift store for $5 or $10. And but my listing is just a tiny bit elevated over the Nike shorts on the floor. I stood the boots up. I took some photos. I whitened the background, took a few minutes. I put my descriptions right there. I made a little bit of a better description other than brown boots. I put 3 measurements. I said they have, I said my items are shipped from a clean, non-smoking environment. I ship daily. Okay. They sold for $45 pretty quickly. If you paid $5 or $10 for these, if you paid $5 for them after the fees, after the cost, you're making $33 on one pair of boots. You sell things for $30 profit. You only have to make 3 to make $100. That's $36,000 a year. That's absolute part-time. You want to make $100,000? Find some items with $30 profit in them. Find 9 items a day. You're making $100,000 if you find those items. They're out there. And don't tell me, oh, my thrift stores mark stuff up. The stuff is still in thrift stores. They don't mark everything up. You educate yourself. That's why I have my class sourcing school. That's why I teach every week what to look for so you can become better buyer, buy better stuff. It's not as hard. If you paid even $10 for these, you'd make $28.11 after fees and cost. That's still really nice. It's a lot easier than selling stuff with $5 or $10 profit in them. Okay. And here's the Terapeak eBay product research on Via Spiga boots in that size. $42 average sold price, average sell through rate, not a lot being sold. This is bad. This is easier. This is easier. You got to do a little more work. Okay. So the model is to find items with 20 to 30 profit in them or more. I don't just say, well, that has too much profit, I'm not buying it. I pay my sourcing formula that I talk about every week in sourcing school is $3 to $5 into $30 to $50 profit. Sell 5, you make the same 100. Sell 15 a day with $20 profit, you're making $100,000 a year. You can do that. Find better items. Make your items listings a teeny bit better. Look at my listings. They're not wonderful. They're not Vogue. They're not like Annie Leibovitz took the photos. They're better. I make the backgrounds clean. I'm shocked that more people don't clean up their backgrounds. Now, I know that there's some items that look better on a darker background or whatever. Yeah. Okay. But for clothes, clean the background. Look at websites. Look at websites for higher end items. They either have a model in a gorgeous setting or they have crisp white, because it makes the items appear to be more valuable. I put measurements in the body of the listing. I do a teeny bit more research. I don't research stuff all day, but I make sure I've got the right keywords, that I'm making my listings a little better. And if you're selling items that no one else is, you can set the price. So if you're selling the Nike shorts, even if you love those Nike shorts, there's a cap to how much people are paying. If you're selling something that's unique, that you're the only one or you're the best one, you can set the price. You don't have to have returns. You don't have to offer free shipping. You can have 3-day handling time. I don't offer returns. I don't have free shipping. I have 3-day handling time. Sales are better than ever. And my goal is to list 5 things 5 days a week. That's easy, part-time. Now, do I list more than 5 things 5 days a week? Sure, some days. But if I'm having a day or I'm having a week, my minimum is 5 things 5 days a week, 25 things a week, 100 things a month. That's it. That's my goal. That's my bottom line goal. And so in December, I was going on vacation. I probably listed less than 100 things, still had a good month. So if you can work less and make more, if you're finding better items and you're making your listings a little more elevated. How do I find stuff? How do you find stuff? Same places pretty much. Thrift stores, bins, estate sales, garage sales, flea markets, online shopping from other sellers. I just sold a belt this morning that I bought from somebody else, from another eBay seller. I'm working on a whole project on that. I won an eBay gift card and I decided instead of buying stuff for myself, I was going to buy stuff and see how fast I could make money on the gift card. So the gift card was for $200. I'm going to see how soon I can turn that $200 gift card into $400 cold hard cash. So once I get there, I'll make the video. So I bought some belts on eBay and one sold already. You can do retail arbitrage online and in person. So when Nordstrom has a sale or Marshall's has a sale, you just have to be picky. Don't say, well, this is $1, I'm going to buy it. Do the research. You have to do that. Sorry about that. Consignment clients. You can make $20 on items from consignment clients all day long if you find the right ones. I talk about that all the time. Pallets, liquidation, bulk buying doesn't usually work with this model because you're not hand picking the items. So I see people, they're like, oh, I got a pallet of Nordstrom returns. And like 1 or 2 things are great, or even a few things are great. And a lot of it is stuff that you're going to spend time on and never, ever sell. So if you get a pallet and it has 100 items in it and only 10 of them are going to sell with good profit, get rid of the other 90 pieces. Send them into ThreadUp. Do, Plato's Closet or something. Don't spend your time on inventory that sucks just because you bought it. The pros are you're going to work less and make more. There's work-life balance. I have really good work-life balance right now. Um, and when I was doing this business model, when I had kids in my house, because my kids are grown and have left the house, um, I was able to be full-time mom and do this business. I wasn't as chill. I wasn't able to like take weeks off and go on vacation and stuff, except for with them. But I was able to work and be the first car in carpool line and work at the book fair and be on the PTA and all of that. So that was the balance then, that I was still able to work and be full-time, all in mom. And it worked out well for me so far, knock wood. They went to college, they have jobs, all of that. So it can be done. And you make more per sale and there's less shipping. I'd rather ship 3 packages tomorrow with $300 profit in it than ship 100 packages with $300 profit in it, right? And you can do this by yourself. I've never had employees. The only help I've ever had is when my kids were in the house. Even during the pandemic, I had somebody measuring, I had somebody photographing. I used to have my kids, when they started driving, as a condition of them having a car that I paid for, they would drop off my stuff at the post office. But you can do this by yourself. You don't need a partner or an employee. And, the cons are it's harder to buy in bulk. It's harder to source this way, but you can do it. If you want to do it, you can do it. I do it every day. And my thrift stores are filled with resellers, and my thrift stores mark stuff up all the time, but I still find things that the other thrifters are missing and the thrift stores miss. You may have to spend a little more time researching, photographing listings. The items don't always sell as quickly. And if you want to do Whatnot or Poshmark live selling, this model doesn't work as well, because that type of live selling it's a lot of preparation, and you have to start the item so low to be successful in live selling. So it's riskier. So it's sustainable. And even in this economy, buyers still want good quality items. The competition for good quality items is lower. If you're buying well, you can give buyers good deals. So if you are selling a really nice leather tote bag and you can sell it for $30 to $50 because you paid $3 to $5 for it, and the stuff in stores is plastic crap and it's $50, it's a win-win for everybody, because you're selling nicer stuff, the buyers are happy, and they're not buying fast fashion. Sourcing well is the key. If you need any help, reach out to me. Thanks for watching.